Good morning, friends, and welcome to this take two for Friday, June the 29th, 2018. Now, as many of you know, I'm Jeannie, and as many of you know, this last week has been quite a challenging week for me and my family, as it is now 1 week since my mother's passing. Now, if you've been following the last couple of days of Take Two, you know that I've focused on a couple of different things, like the fact that we are now the oldest generation, and that life goes on and so forth. But if you were watching yesterday, please bear with me. I'm holding my camera today because I have something special I'm going to share with you a little later, okay? So forgive me for any technical glitches this morning. But if you were watching yesterday, you might have seen that I showed this picture. Now, this is a picture of Michael and myself and my mother, Mother's Day weekend of 2002. Now, that has great significance to me because not only was it the first time I had seen my mother since my father passing away back in '02, but that was a Mother's Day weekend. Now, let me explain that Mother's Day was one of those rare times I could spend with my mother. I left home in 1980 after I had finished college. I moved to the West Coast, and with the exception of one short period of time where we lived in Virginia for a summer, I had never even lived back in the same time zone as my parents. I had lived a number of places: California, Texas. I had lived in England, Ireland, various places around the world, around the United States, and did a great deal of traveling. So I could count on one hand and have room left over of all the Mother's Days that I spent with my mom from the time I left home 30-odd years ago, almost 40 years ago. So that being said, who did? Who picked up the slack? Who took care of that? Who sacrificed so that she could spend time with my mother? That would be my hero, my sister Fran. Now, I promised myself I wasn't going to get emotional, but I've been thinking a lot about that since I looked at that picture yesterday. I said, this was one of those rare times I got to actually have Mother's Day with my sister. My sister has sacrificed a lot, and that's why I'm calling today's segment Heroes. Well, not only Fran, but of course her wonderful husband Scott. Together they're a matched set. So together many of the heroic things they have done, especially in these last years of helping with my mother. You see, Fran lives only 75 miles from my mother. That's still a big chunk of driving. There's still tolls and gasoline to get to her. But I've always lived, 1,000 miles or 3,000 miles or that kind of thing. And that meant that the responsibility fell on my sister Fran to do a lot of things, good things and bad things, challenging things and happy times. But either way, I just have to say that my sister, my hero, she sacrificed much. I looked up the word hero in the Webster Dictionary this morning, and here's what it says. It says a hero is a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, and noble qualities. Yep, that's Fran. Thank you, Fran, for being my hero. I appreciated it. When Mom passed away, when she died last Friday, Fran kicked into I've got to get it done mode. I've got things to do. I have logistics to carry out. Now, my parents appointed her to be the person to take care of matters after their passing. Was it because she's older? Maybe. Was it because she's closer? Possibly. But you know what I think? I think it was because they knew she was the one best suited for the job. She's the one who can get it done. She's the one who can take care of matters. So there was many sacrifices. Our childhood was not always a bed of roses. It wasn't always easy. There were challenges. There were things behind the scene. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my mother and father very much. And I do know that they lived in a different generation, maybe approached things differently than I did, that I would have done things a little bit differently regarding some of the challenges that my sister and I struggle through. But I do have to say that through it all, my sister remained the hero. So, Fran, I honor you today, and I would like to do something very special for you because you are my hero. So bear with me. I'm going to I'm going to switch this around just a little bit. I'm going to try to swap this over. I hope you're still there. I hope it's still running. And Fran, pay attention to every word, because every word is you. Here we are.